For more now, we're joined by Omar Turbi in Los Angeles. He is a Libyan activist living in the United States. He lobbied the U.S. to take part in NATO's strikes to help oust Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. From London, we're joined by Sabri Malek. He is a spokesman for the Democratic Party of Libya. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you to the show. Omar, we've had a major development. Egypt has been conducting airstrikes against targets inside Libya. What do you make of that?
I'm not sure I'm in favor of targets that have not been pre-planned or designed to help get Libya out of the misery it's in. Just haphazard selection of targets or hits in Libya because a reaction to what had happened, I guess, many hours, 24 to 48 hours ago, when the so-called ISIS in Libya executed 21 Egyptian Coptics. Egypt has been kind of a proxy doing some of the things that the West had wished all along in the past several months to do on their own. But I'm not sure it has been very productive or these strikes have been very useful. Although I am in favor of some level of international military intervention in Libya now, as it had happened back in 2011, but it has to be mandated by the UN. It has to be openly done, and we have to get the world community to see what the end game of an military intervention is, as opposed to what Egypt is doing or something along those lines.
Sabri, how does the Egyptian action complicate efforts to resolve the political crisis in Libya? Egypt says it was responding to the beheadings of just more than 20 of its citizens inside Libya.
Well, let me start by saying that we in the Democratic Party condemn in the strongest possible terms the heinous crime of killing Egyptian Copts in Libya. We Muslims recognize that the early Muslims were persecuted in Mecca and they found refuge with the Copts of Abyssinia. We also know that the Prophet, peace be upon him, specifically called for the good treatment of the Copts. We in Libya, as all Muslims, have no quarrel with the Copts of Egypt at all, and for that matter with the Christians anywhere in the world. At the same time, I would like to mention that most Libyans are very suspicious that this crime was perpetrated by the Egyptian Secret Service. The thing is that the Egyptian regime is corrupt, is bankrupt, both morally and financially, and it would stop at nothing to get its hands on Libyan oil. In fact, the Egyptian Air Force has been engaged in operations over Libya for the last 6 months, and the world community simply turned a blind eye. We demand that the Security Council condemns the bombing of Derna, the violation of the sovereignty of Libya. The way forward is about helping the United Nations and the world community helping Libya to establish democracy and not by bombing it.
Okay, Omar, looking at the way forward, reports we're getting out of Libya right now tell us of a country that is in chaos and a country that is lawless right now. In fact, we even have the New York Times saying that world leaders should redouble efforts to get the United Nations to broker a power-sharing deal among the warring factions in Libya. Is that going to happen? Is that possible right now?
Well, if there is anything that can be done in Libya, frankly, as a person who feels strongly that the safety of Libyans and security of Libya's sovereignty and respect for its sovereignty, it's me. However, in 2011, the only way we were able to dislodge a dictator that had a grip over Libya for over 42 years was to rally the world community to save lives in Libya under UN resolutions to protect lives and to prevent genocides, which was approved by the UN in April 2006. We can actually introduce that and get the United Nations to dust off some of these resolutions and move forward and give a mandate to the security members, the members of the Security Council of the UN, to move forward and do something. And I do feel that the 3 out of 5 at the Security Council, meaning the United States, France, and Britain, are likely to want to do something, but their concerns are that China may object to it, and then the issues that are going on in the Ukraine would make Russia be very difficult to deal with on this matter. However, things have to be explained both to the Chinese and to the Russians that their interests are hurt in Libya, and they must assist in passing or repassing resolutions at the United Nations to go in and intervene in Libya. Short of international military intervention in Libya, it's going to spiral and it's going to continue to spin out of control. In the last 72 hours or so, oil pipelines have been hit. Oil fields have been hit and damaged. The production of oil has gone down to levels that I've never, ever been to. So I think we have to move forward and get set for military intervention. I'm kind of encouraged a little bit, frankly. In the last week or so, the U.S. Congress had passed a resolution giving Obama the right to target ISIS or terrorist camps anywhere in the region. He had not had that mandate, and that gives him the right to do it for the next 36 months. Perhaps that is a prelude to some discussions that might be going on between the United States, Britain, France, and also Italy is kind of very interested to do something because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of migrants that end up on the shores of Italian coast. That, yeah, so something has got to be done soon.
So, Sabri, Libya has a choice right now. Either it goes the way of diplomacy, using the UN process to resolve the conflict in the country, or a military solution. Which way do you think it's going to go?
Libya is a fabulously rich country. It has the potential to be a second Switzerland. But we Libyans have difficulties establishing democracy. We in the Democratic Party 4 years ago called for the United Nations to take charge of Libya directly to establish democracy in the country. We Libyans do not have a culture of democracy. Establishing democracy is a very difficult business indeed. It took the West hundreds of years to do it. We Libyans are not expected to do it over in a matter of 4 years. We need the intervention of the United Nations, and we need the UN peacekeeping forces in Libya. The countries of Malaysia, Bangladesh, and Indonesia are already they have already expressed their willingness to send troops to Libya. I think that's the way forward.
Okay. Omar, what is the situation inside Libya right now? I mean, what is day-to-day life like for Libyans? I mean, are essential services operating, for instance?
But the truth of the matter, there's a lot of chaos going on. The HOR, which is the body that was elected last June to represent the Libyan people that's operating out of Tobruk, is not able to run the affairs of the country. They're just putting out fires. They don't know whether to ally themselves with the Haftar group of trying to fight the radical Islamists in the east and in Benghazi, or not to do that. Then you have in the west, where the former GNC that was defunct many, many months ago, that's functioning and operating under its own set of rules. There's a number of people that had served under the GNC or the former government that cannot or could not make up their mind whether to take direction from Tobruk or take direction from Tripoli. And what I want to remind my friend Sabri here, that Libya is not a rich country. Libya is on the verge of depleting all of its reserves, and if this civil disruptions and civil instabilities in Libya continue for the next few months, Libya will suffer for a long time. Its infrastructure is had suffered for a long time, and it's getting worse.
Okay, gentlemen, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks to both of you for joining us. We are going to take a short break right now. When we come back, we'll talk more about the rise of ISIL in Libya and why Egypt is now on the attack. Stay with us. You're watching The Heat.